Hey there, strap in, because tonight we're diving into a truth that'll flip everything you thought you knew about Ethan Hunt, the so-called hero of the Mission Impossible series. Picture this. You're sprinting through the rain-slicked alleys of Prague 1996, your boots pounding against uneven cobblestones, the air sharp with the sting of betrayal. Your team's dead, slaughtered in a mission gone catastrophically wrong, and the CIA's branding you a traitor. Your heart's hammering, not just from the chase, but from the cold realization you're alone framed, and the world thinks you're the villain. This isn't the glamorous spy life of martinis and tuxedos. This is raw, desperate, and far too familiar. Because you, Ethan Hunt, aren't just a hero. You're a criminal mastermind, and every move you make proves it. Before you settle in, hit that like button if you're ready to unravel this theory. Subscribe for more hidden truths, and drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is. Let's see who's joining us from around the globe. Now dim the lights and step into your world, a world where the line between hero and criminal is as thin as the wire you're about to rappel down. You're not the Ethan Hunt of Hollywood's dreams, the clean-cut savior with a charming grin. No, you're a man forged in shadows, a man who's been running since long before the IMF ever whispered your name. The movies paint you as the ultimate good guy, diving off cliffs and defusing bombs to save the world. But peel back the layers and it's clear your skills, your instincts, they scream something darker. You're not just outsmarting terrorists and rogue agents. You're outsmarting everyone, allies included, with the precision of a thief who's been dodging traps his whole life. The question isn't whether you're a hero. It's whether you're playing the world for your own survival, a mastermind who's turned espionage into the ultimate heist. And it all starts with a truth the films only recently dared to reveal. You weren't born a spy. You were born a criminal. The streets of Prague are a blur as you duck into a shadow doorway, your breath fogging in the icy night air. You've just watched your mentor, Jim Phelps, die, or so you think. And the IMF's pointing the finger at you for the massacre of your team. Your comms are dead, your safe houses compromised, and every camera in the city's hunting your face. This isn't your first time on the run, though, is it? You know how to vanish, how to blend into the crowd, because you've done it before, not as a spy, but as a man with a rap sheet longer than a mission dossier. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Part 1 drops the bombshell. Before the IMF, you were a criminal, a thief or gun for hire, living on the edge of the law. You weren't saving the world back then. You were out for yourself, slipping through cracks, dodging cops and pulling jobs that left no trace. That life caught up with you, landing you in a cell with a choice: rot in prison or trade your skills for a shot at redemption. You chose the IMF, but redemption doesn't erase who you are. Feel the weight of that moment, standing in a grimy interrogation room. Your wrists chafed from cuffs, a faceless suit sliding a file across the table. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, they said. But what they really meant was, we need your kind of dirty. Your kind of dirty knows how to pick locks, crack safes, and read a room before the first punch is thrown. It's why you're still alive in Prague, piecing together a plan while the CIA closes in. You're not panicking, you're calculating, because this is what you do. You've always been one step ahead, not because you're noble, but because you've had to be. The IMF didn't make you a mastermind. They just gave you better toys and a badge to hide behind. And that badge, it's less a shield than a mask, one you've worn so long, even you might believe the lie. But let's rewind, because the seeds of this theory aren't just in your past. They're in every move you make. You're crouched in a Prague safe house, now rewiring a phone to tap into a secure line your fingers steady, despite the blood drying on your knuckles. This isn't spy training at work. This is muscle memory, from nights spent breaking into places you shouldn't, stealing things that weren't yours. The first Mission Impossible film shows you pulling off the impossible, hacking the CIA's Langley headquarters, dangling from a wire in a sterile room, all to clear your name. Heroic, sure, but think about it. Who else could plan a heist that brazen, execute it with split-second precision, and walk away clean? A thief, a con artist, a criminal mastermind, who's spent years perfecting the art of deception. You don't just bend the rules, you rewrite them, and the world's too busy cheering to notice. The CIA's Langley job isn't a one-off. Flash forward to Mission Impossible 3, and you're orchestrating a fake arms deal to trap Owen Davian, a sadistic arms dealer. You're not following IMF protocol. You're improvising, lying, manipulating everyone from your team to the enemy. The plan's so intricate it could collapse with one wrong word. But you pull it off because you've always known how to play both sides. Or take Ghost Protocol, where you're disavowed after a Kremlin bombing you didn't commit. Do you surrender? No. You climb the Burj Khalifa, infiltrate a Russian prison, and turn a global crisis into your personal chessboard. These aren't the acts of a loyal agent. They're the moves of a man who's spent his life outrunning consequences, a man who thrives when the stakes are impossible. And yet the world calls you a hero. Why? Because you save the day, because your missions stop bombs from detonating and villains from winning. But saving the world doesn't erase the how. You lie, you steal, you manipulate, and you do it with a smile that disarms everyone. Your charm's a weapon honed in back rooms and bar fights long before the IMF polished your edges. You're not just outsmarting the bad guys, you're outsmarting the system, the IMF, even your own team. Every mission's a heist, and you're the one walking away with the prize, whether it's a nuke disarmed or your own skin intact. The question lingers heavy as the fog rolling off the Vltava River. Are you saving the world, or just playing it for your own survival? Your enemies see through the hero act. Owen Davian calls you a self-righteous prick before you outwit him. Solomon Lane in Rogue Nation sneers at your relentless pursuit, knowing you're as ruthless as he is. Even Gabriel in Dead Reckoning knows your past, knows the blood on your hands from the days before the IMF. They see what your allies miss. You're not bound by their rules, their morals. You're a criminal mastermind playing a game where the only rule is winning. And you've been winning since you were a kid on the run, long before anyone handed you a self-destructing tape. Prague's dawn is breaking now, painting the sky a bruised purple as you slip into the crowd, your face already shifting into someone else's. You're not just running from the CIA, you're running from the truth of who you are. Every mission, every mask, every impossible escape, it's all built on that criminal core, the one that taught you to survive when the world turned against you. You're Ethan Hunt hero to some traitor to others, but deep down, you know the truth. You're a mastermind, and this game's far from over. You're moving through Prague's morning crowd now, your pulse steady despite the manhunt closing in. The IMF's branded you a mole, your face is on every agency's hit list, and yet you're already 3 steps ahead, slipping into a phone booth to rig a secure line. This isn't instinct, it's experience hard won from a life before the suits and gadgets. a life where survival meant outrunning the law. You weren't always Ethan Hunt, IMF legend. You were a shadow, a thief, a gun for hire, carving out a living in the cracks of society. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Part 1 peels back the curtain. You spent years as a criminal, pulling jobs that left no fingerprints, dodging cops with the same ease you now dodge assassins. That life wasn't glamorous, it was grimy, desperate, and it shaped every move you make today. Your hands steady on the phone's wires know this game because they've played it before in back alleys and border towns, long before anyone offered you a mission that self-destructs. Feel the weight of those years, the ones the movies barely whisper about. You're young, barely out of your teens, running through a nameless city, your backpack heavy with stolen cash, or worse. The air's thick with diesel and danger, your heart pounding as sirens wail closer. You learned early how to blend in, how to read a crowd, how to pick a lock under pressure. Maybe you were boosting cars, cracking safes, or running guns for men with cold eyes and thicker wallets. The details are murky. Dead Reckoning doesn't spill everything, but the truth is clear: you were good at it. Too good. Good enough to catch the wrong kind of attention, the kind that lands you in a cell with a choice that wasn't really a choice. Prison for life or the IMF. You didn't choose the spy life for honor. You chose it because it was the only way out, and because deep down you knew you could turn their game into yours. That cell still lingers in your memory. Its concrete walls damp the fluorescent buzz drilling into your skull. You're cuffed, bruised maybe from a job gone wrong, or a betrayal you didn't see coming. A suit slides a file across the table, your name scrawled on it alongside words like larceny, assault, fugitive. They know you're a ghost slipping through borders, leaving no trace. They also know you're wasted behind bars. We need people like you, they say, and you almost laugh. People like you don't save the world, they break it piece by piece for profit or survival. But you nod because you're not dumb and because you see the angle. The IMF's a lifeline, but it's also a heist in disguise, better tech, bigger stakes, and a chance to play the hero while keeping your hands dirty. You sign up, but you never leave the criminal behind. Now in Prague, that criminal's running the show. You're not following IMF protocol, you're improvising, piecing together who framed you, why your team's dead. Your fingers strip the phone's wires with the ease of someone who's hot-wired. Cars hacked, ATMs may be worse. This isn't spy school training. It's street smarts honed in places where a wrong move meant a bullet, not a debrief. The IMF gave you a playbook, but you threw it out years ago. You trust your gut, your skills, the ones that kept you alive when you were nobody. And those skills, they're not clean. They're the kind that let you vanish into a crowd forge, a passport, or con a mark into spilling secrets over a drink. They're the skills of a criminal mastermind, and they're why you're still breathing. But there's a ghost trailing you heavier than the CIA's net. Her name's Marie, and she's the reason your criminal past isn't just a story, it's a scar. Dead Reckoning hints at her, a woman you loved lost to Gabriel, a mercenary who knew you before the IMF. You were running together, maybe pulling jobs, maybe dreaming of a way out. The details are vague, but the pain's sharp. You see her face in every dark corner, her blood on your hands when you wake up sweating. Gabriel killed her, or you failed her. Either way, it's your fault, and it's why you took the IMF's deal. Not for redemption, not really. For a chance to burn the world that burned you. Marie's death is the hinge between your criminal past and your spy present, The moment you went from thief to something more dangerous, a mastermind with a grudge. You're out of the phone booth now. The call made a meet set with a contact who might not show. Your eyes scan the crowd-old habit from days when every stranger could be a cop or a rival. You spot a tail a guy in a grey coat, too casual to be casual. You don't flinch. You are just slipping into a market blending with vendors hawking bread and fish. This is your element, the chaos where you thrive. Back in your criminal days, you'd lose tales like this for breakfast, ducking through slums or border checkpoints. The IMF taught you gadgets, but you taught yourself survival. And survival for you means playing dirty lying, stealing, outsmarting everyone. It's why you're not just a spy. You're a criminal mastermind turning a manhunt into your personal chess game. Think about it. What kind of man pulls off what you do? In Mission Impossible, you don't just clear your name, you infiltrate the CIA's most secure vault, dangling from a wire sweat, dripping one misstep from disaster. That's not hero stuff. That's a heist planned with the precision of a bank job. You recruit a team of outsiders, hackers, thieves like you used to be, and you lead them like you've done it 100 times before. Maybe you have. Back when you were running jobs, you weren't alone, were you? You had a crew, maybe even Marie pulling cons or worse. The IMF just swapped your leather jacket for a suit, your switchblade for a laser. But the game's the same. Get in, get out, don't get caught. And you're the best there ever was. The market's noise fades as you slip into a side street grey coat, nowhere in sight. You're safe for now, but safe's an illusion you stopped believing in long ago. Your criminal past taught you that. Every job, every score, it was you against the world, and you loved it, the rush, the risk, the moment when you walked away clean. The IMF calls it duty now, but you know better. It's survival, same as always, dressed up in mission tapes and world-saving stakes. You're not here to be a hero. You're here to win, and winning means playing by your rules, not theirs. That's what makes you dangerous, Ethan. Not your gadgets, not your training, but the criminal heart beating under it, all the one that knows how to break the world and walk away smiling. You're heading to the meet now, a dive bar where your contact's waiting, or maybe it's a trap. Doesn't matter, you're ready. You always are, because you've been ready since you were a kid on the run, since Marie, since the cell where you traded one kind of freedom for another. Your criminal roots aren't a footnote. They're the foundation of every impossible mission you pull off. They're why you don't flinch when the world calls you a traitor. Why you laugh when the odds are stacked against you. You're not just Ethan Hunt, IMF agent. You're Ethan Hunt, mastermind. And this world's about to learn what that really means. The dive bar's door creaks as you slip inside, the air thick with cigarette smoke and the sour tang of spilled beer. You scan the room, old habit, from nights when every stranger could be a mark or a threat. A jukebox hums in the corner, drowning out low voices, but you catch the flicker of eyes tracking you. Your contact's late, or maybe they're not coming. Doesn't matter. You're already working angles, reading the room like a blueprint, because this is what you do. You play everyone always have. You're Ethan Hunt, and your greatest weapon isn't the gun tucked under your jacket. It's deception honed in the shadows of your criminal past, sharpened by every mission that's pushed you to the edge. You slide into a booth, your back to the wall, and let the game begin. This bar could be any dive from your old life, Prague, Istanbul, some border town, where you cut deals or dodged knives. Back then, you weren't saving the world. You were conning it, charming Mark slipping through traps with a grin. Mission Impossible shows you pulling the ultimate con framed for your team's murder. You don't just clear your name, you infiltrate the CIA's Langley vault, stealing secrets from under their noses. Picture it, you're dangling from a wire, sweat beading on your forehead. The room senses a heartbeat from screaming. One twitch and you're done. But you're steady, precise, because you've done this before. Not in sterile vaults, but in mob safe houses, bank backrooms, places where a slip meant a bullet. That heist wasn't heroism. It was a criminal mastermind at work, turning the world's most secure system into your personal playground. You sip a flat beer eyes on the door, but your mind's replaying other cons. Mission Impossible 3. You're orchestrating a fake arms deal to trap Owen Davey in a snake who'd gut you for fun. You're not following IMF orders. You're writing the script, weaving lies so tight, even your team's half convinced. You pose as a buyer, your voice smooth, your eyes cold, selling a deal that's pure fiction. Davian buys it because you know how to read a mark, how to make them see what you want. You learn that on the streets, conning dealers dodging double crosses. The IMF calls it tactics. You call it survival. And survival's always been your game, whether you're charming a gangster or a government. Feel the rush of it, the way deception lights up your nerves. You're not just lying, you're sculpting reality, bending it to your will. In Ghost Protocol, the Kremlin's bombed, and you're disavowed a ghost even to the IMF. Do you fold? No, you climb the Burj Khalifa, glass cutting your palms, wind screaming in your ears to steal nuclear codes. You hack systems, impersonate generals, turn a global crisis into your stage. This isn't duty. It's audacity, the kind you honed pulling jobs no one else dared. Every mask you wear, literal or not, is a con, every plan a heist. You're not saving the world, you're outsmarting it, and the thrill's as real as the first time you slipped a stolen watch into your pocket. The bar's door swings open, but it's not your contact, just a drunk stumbling in. You lean back unfazed because waiting's part of the game. You've always been good at reading people, knowing who'll crack, who'll fight, who'll run. It's why you recruit teams like the one in Mission Impossible Krieger, a hacker with your kind of edge. Claire sharp enough to keep up. You lead them not with speeches, but with trust, the kind you earned in crews back when loyalty meant splitting the take. Your criminal past taught you to spot talent, to turn misfits into weapons. And you're the sharpest weapon of all, because you see angles no one else does. Angles that turn impossible odds into your advantage. But deception's a blade that cuts both ways. You're lying to everyone. Enemies, allies, maybe even yourself. In Mission Impossible 2, you charm Naya Nordhoff Hall, pulling her into a mission that's as much about your needs as the world's. You read her like a mark, know exactly how to draw her in, but there's a flicker of guilt when she looks at you. You push it down because guilt's a luxury you can't afford. That's the criminal in you, the one who knows how to use people, even if it leaves scars. Nya's not the first either. Marie's ghost lingers her eyes, accusing every time you close yours. You conned her too, didn't you? Promised a way out, a life beyond the jobs, only to watch her die because you misread the board. The jukebox switches to a slow song, and you catch your reflection in the bar's grimy mirror. You look like Ethan Hunt, IMF agent, but you see the kid who ran from cops, the man who lied to survive. Every mission's a con, and you're the best there is, Rogue Nation proves it. You outwit Solomon Lane, a terrorist who's your mirror image, by setting traps within traps. You don't fight him head-on. You manipulate, misdirect, let him think he's won until the cuffs snap on. Lane sees you for what you are, a mastermind who plays the game better than anyone. He hates you for it, but he respects it because he knows the truth you hide from the world. You're not just deceiving others, you're deceiving the system itself. The IMF thinks they own you, but you've been using their tech, their clearance, to run your own plays. In Fallout, you defy orders to save Luther, risking a nuclear strike because your team's your only constant. Is it loyalty or a criminal's code? The one that says you protect your crew no matter the cost. You don't care about the IMF's rules, their politics. You care about winning, and winning means bending reality until it fits your plan. That's what makes you a mastermind. Not the missions you complete, but the lies you live. A shadow moves near the bar, and your hand drifts to your jacket ready for trouble. It's just a waiter, but the instinct's automatic burned into you from years of looking over your shoulder. Deception's kept you alive, but it's also your cage. You can't trust anyone, not fully, because trust is a crack in the armor, and you've seen what happens when armor fails. Marie's blood. Your team's bodies in Prague. They're reminders. The only one you can rely on is you. And you. You're a criminal mastermind, playing a game where the stakes are the world, and the prize is staying one step ahead. The door opens again, and this time it's your contact, a nervous guy clutching a briefcase. You stand your grin disarming, but your mind's already dissecting him, his tells, his weaknesses. You're about to run another con, because that's who you are. Not a hero, not a spy, but a man who turns every moment into a move, every person into a piece on your board. The game's never over, and you wouldn't have it any other way. You slide across from your contact, the briefcase between you on the sticky bar table. Its leather scuffed like it's seen too many deals gone sour. His eyes dart sweat beading on his brow, and you lean in, voice low, disarming like you're just two guys sharing a beer. But you're not. You're Ethan Hunt, and this is your game. A game you play outside the law, where rules are suggestions and orders are obstacles. The IMF thinks you're their agent, but you've been breaking their chains since the day you signed up running missions. Your way consequences be damned. You're not just a rogue spy. You're a criminal mastermind, and every defiance, every unauthorized move proves it. Your contact stammers, but you're already reading his tells, because going rogue isn't just what you do, it's who you are. The bar's dim light catches the scars on your knuckles, souvenirs from nights when plans went sideways. You've never been one for following orders, not even in your criminal days. Back then, you'd ditch a crew's plan if it smelled like a trap, trusting your gut over some boss's blueprint. That gut's still your compass, and it's why you're sitting here off the IMF grid chasing leads they'd shut down. Mission Impossible sets the stage framed for treason in Prague. You don't report in, you vanish, building your own team, your own plan. Picture it. You're holed up in a safe house, maps and wires strewn across the floor, ignoring the IMF's recall, because you know they're wrong. You're not their pawn. You're the player, and the CIA's vault is your next move. Feel the weight of that choice the moment you cut the comms and go dark. The IMF's screaming for protocol, but protocols for agents who trust the system. You don't. You never have not, since your days dodging cops. when system meant cages or bullets. In Ghost Protocol, the Kremlin's a smoking ruin and the IMF's disavowed, leaving you with nothing but a team and a ticking clock. Do you wait for clearance? Hell no. You're scaling the Burj Khalifa, glass slick under your gloves, wind howling like it wants you dead. You infiltrate Russian prisons, steal nuclear codes, and turn a global manhunt into your personal vendetta. This isn't loyalty to the IMF, it's defiance. The kind you learned when you were a nobody, answering to no one but yourself. Your contact slides the briefcase closer, whispering about a list. Names, dates, the kind of intel that could burn governments. You nod, but your mind's racing, weighing risks the IMF would never approve. Going rogue's your trademark, and it's not just about survival, it's about control. In Rogue Nation, you're hunting the syndicate, a shadow network the IMF denies exists. They order you to stand down, but you laugh because orders are chains, and you've been picking locks since you were a kid. You go underground, living off cash and aliases, building a case while the world calls you a traitor. Picture the thrill, you're in Istanbul, slipping through a bazaar, your face hidden, your enemies closer than your allies. You're not following rules, you're rewriting them, and the syndicate's just another mark in your long con. But going rogue isn't clean. Your hands are bloody, your team's battered, and every choice leaves scars. In Fallout, you defy orders to save Luther, risking a nuclear strike for one man. The IMF's furious, but you don't care. Luther's your crew, and crew comes first, a code you carried from your criminal days. Feel the tension standing in a Paris alley rain, soaking your jacket, knowing your call could end millions of lives. You make it anyway, because you trust your gut over their bureaucracy. That's the criminal in you, the one who knows systems fail, who learned to survive by breaking every rule in the book. The IMF calls it reckless. You call it winning. Your contact's voice cracks, spilling details he shouldn't, and you lean back, letting him think he's in control. You've always been good at this, making people feel safe while you pull the strings. It's why you've survived going rogue so many times. In Mission Impossible the Third, you're not just saving your wife Julia, you're defying the IMF to take down Davy in your way. You kidnap him, interrogate him, risk everything, because you know the system's too slow, too weak. Picture it. You're in a speeding van, Davian's smug face inches from yours, your fists itching to break him. The IMF would have waited, negotiated. You don't. You act because waiting's for suckers, and you've been outrunning clocks since your first heist. The bar's getting rowdy, a fight brewing by the pool table, but you're calm, your eyes locked on the briefcase. Going rogue means living on the edge, and you love it, the chaos, the freedom, the moment when you flip the script. But it's not just about you. Your team's out there, Luther and Benji, risking their necks because they believe in you, not the IMF. You lead them like you led crews in your old life, with trust, not orders. They're criminals too, or were Luther's a hacker, Benji's a tech thief, and they follow you because you're one of them, a mastermind who turns impossible into a Tuesday. Comment below. Would you trust a guy who ignores every rule or turn him in? Let's hear it. There's a cost though, and you feel it in the ache of your shoulders, the ghosts in your dreams. Going rogue burns bridges, Julia's gone, your team's always one step from death, and the IMF's leash tightens with every stunt. In Dead Reckoning, you're defying orders again, chasing Gabriel. The man who killed Marie, the man who knows your past. Picture the stakes, you're on a train, metal screeching Gabriel's blade at your throat. and the IMF screaming for you to abort. You don't. Because this isn't their fight. It's yours, personal, rooted in the blood of your criminal days. That's the mastermind's curse. You break rules to win. But every win costs you something you can't steal back. Your contact's done talking, and you slide the briefcase to your side, your grin masking the calculations in your head. He thinks he's free, but he's your pawn, just like the IMF, the CIA, the enemies you've buried. Going rogue's your nature, not a choice, because you've never trusted systems, only yourself. You learned that running from cops cutting deals, surviving when the world wanted you caged. The IMF gave you a badge, but you've been burning it every mission, turning their orders into ash. You're not their hero. You're their wild card, a criminal mastermind who plays by one rule, yours. You stand briefcase in hand, ready to slip back into the night. The bar's chaos is your cover, the fight spilling into shouts and broken glass. You're already gone, a shadow moving through Prague streets, your next move forming before the last one's done. The IMF thinks they own you, but you're using them, their tech, their clearance to run a game they'll never see coming. And that game, it's not about saving the world. It's about staying free, staying alive, and proving you're the one who writes the ending. You're back in Prague's shadows, the briefcase heavy in your grip as you weave through fog-draped streets. The city's alive with whispers, agents hunting you. Your contact's intel burning a hole in your mind. You're Ethan Hunt, and you don't just bend rules. You shatter them, leaving the IMF scrambling to keep up. But it's not just defiance that drives you. It's the grey zone you live in, where right and wrong blur, like the mist around you. You're no saint, and you know it. Every mission, every choice you weigh lives like chips in a high-stakes game, and sometimes you let innocence fall to win. That's not heroism, it's the cold calculus of a criminal mastermind, and it's why the world you save never quite trusts you. The briefcase's contents, a list of double agents, could end this manhunt, but you're not rushing to the IMF with it. You're holding it close, because information's power, and power's something you've never given away lightly. Picture it, you're in a derelict warehouse, the only light a flickering bulb, papers spread across a crate. You're piecing together who betrayed your team, but your mind's drifting to darker places. Mission impossible. Fallout shows you at your greyest. You're chasing plutonium to stop a nuclear strike, but you let a terrorist escape to save Luther's life. You're in a Paris alley, rain soaking through your jacket, Luther bleeding out, and you make the call, his life over millions, maybe billions. The IMF calls it reckless, you call it loyalty, but deep down you know it's more. It's you playing God, deciding who lives, who dies, like you did in your criminal days when a wrong move meant blood. Feel that weight the moment you chose one man over the world. Your heart's pounding, not from fear, but from the rush of control. You've always lived in this grey zone where morality's a tool, not a chain. Back when you were running jobs, you'd ditch a heist if it saved your crew, even if it meant leaving empty-handed. You learned early that survival trumps ideals, and the IMF's high talk of greater good never stuck. In Mission Impossible 2, you pull Naya Nordhoff-Hall into your world, charming her into a mission that's as much about your goals as stopping a virus. You're in Morocco, her eyes locked on yours, and you know she's falling, but you let her because she's your way in. You tell yourself, it's for the mission, but there's a flicker of guilt when she risks her life. You push it down. Because guilt's a crack, and cracks get you caught. Nia's not the only one you've used. Your charm's a weapon forged in bars and back rooms, where you conned marks with a smile. Picture it, you're young, leaning across a table, spinning a story to some thug with too much cash. You read his greed, his ego, and you play him like a fiddle, walking away richer. That's you with Nia, with allies, even with the IMF. In Mission Impossible Thriller, you're saving Julia, your wife, but you manipulate everyone, team enemies, even her to take down Owen Davian. You're in Shanghai, sweat stinging your eyes, Julia's life on the line, and you lie to her face, promising safety you can't guarantee. It works, but at what cost? Julia's trust, your soul, another piece of you chipped away. The warehouse is cold, seeps into your bones, but you're focused, cross-referencing names. Your grey zone isn't just about using people, it's about sacrificing them. In Fallout, you let innocents die in a hospital attack to keep your cover, your jaw tight as screams echo. You tell yourself it's for the mission, but you've made that call before in your criminal days, when you'd let a bystander take a fall to save your skin. The IMF sees you as a hero, but heroes don't trade lives like currency. You do because you've always known the world's not black and white. It's grey, and you're its master, navigating it with a criminal's clarity. Marie's ghost haunts you here, her face flickering in the bulb's light. Dead reckoning ties her to your criminal past, a woman you loved, lost to Gabriel's blade. You're back in that moment, her blood warm on your hands, your voice breaking as you beg her to hold on. You failed her, misread the job, trusted the wrong man. That guilt drives you, but it doesn't clean your slate. You joined it to escape prison, to burn the world that took her, but every mission, every sacrifice, you're still that man, calculating, ruthless grey. You wonder if Marie would recognize you now, or if she'd see the monster you've become, the one who'd let her die to win. Your fingers pause on the papers, a name catching your eye, a lead to Gabriel, maybe to answers. You've always chased redemption, but it's a lie you tell yourself better than anyone. In Rogue Nation, you trap Solomon Lane, but you don't kill him, even though you know he'll come back. You're in London, his eyes burning into yours through a glass cage, and you walk away because killing him feels too clean, too final. You need the chase, the game, the need to prove you're better. That's the criminal in you, not the hero, the one who thrives on the edge, where every choice is a gamble and you're betting lives. The warehouse door rattles and you're on your feet, blade in hand, ready for a fight. It's just the wind, but the instinct's alive, the one that kept you sharp when you were running from cops, not spies. You've always been comfortable in this grey zone because it's where you were forged. Your criminal past taught you to see the world as a ledger, debt deals, sacrifices, and you balance it with a mastermind's precision. The IMF wants a soldier. They got a thief, one who steals trust, lives, futures. Comment below, is Ethan's grey zone worth it, or is he just too far gone? Tell me what you think. You slip the papers into your jacket, the briefcase locked tight, and head for the door. The manhunt's closing in, but you're not running, you're hunting Gabriel. The IMF, the truth. Every step's a choice, and each one's grey because you've never believed in absolutes. You believe in winning, in surviving, and you do it by bending the world to your will, no matter the cost. That's not a hero's path, it's a criminal mastermind's, and you're walking it with eyes wide open, ready to face the shadows you've cast. You're out of the warehouse now, the Prague night swallowing you as you move toward a rendezvous point, the briefcase a ticking bomb under your arm. Your steps are silent, deliberate, but your mind's loud with memories. Luther's laugh, Benji's nervous quips, the team that's become your anchor in a world of lies. You're Ethan Hunt, and you don't just lead agents, you lead a crew, a band of misfits who, like you, carry scars from lives outside the law. The IMF calls you a team, but you know better. You're a heist crew pulling off the impossible with skills forged in the same shadows you came from. Your criminal past isn't just yours, it's the blood that binds you, and it's why you're a mastermind, not a hero. Orchestrating plays that blur the line between mission and crime. The rendezvous is a derelict bridge. Its iron rusted the Vltava River churning below. You're early scanning for threats, because trust is a luxury you've never afforded. Your team's out there, Luther, Stickle, Benji Dunn, maybe Ilsa Faust, and they're not clean-cut spies. Mission impossible, dead reckoning. Part 1 hints at their pasts. Luther's a hacker who cracked systems for cash. Benji's a tech thief who danced around law enforcement. Ilsa's a rogue with blood on her ledger. They're like you criminals turned IMF, their skills too sharp for prison, too useful to waste. Picture it, you're in a safe house planning the Langley heist in Mission Impossible. Luther's at a keyboard, fingers flying Benji's rigging comms, and you're the one tying it together because you've led crews before, back when the score was gold, not secrets. Feel the rhythm of it, the way your team moves like a well-oiled machine. You're not barking orders. You're setting the stage, trusting their instincts because you know their roots. In your criminal days, you ran with thieves, cons, muscle people who'd split the take and watch your back, or stab it if you slipped. You learn to spot talent, to build trust without promises, and you carry that into the IMF. In Ghost Protocol, you're disavowed climbing the Burj Khalifa with Luther on comms, Benji sweating over a hacked server. They follow you, not the IMF, because you're one of them, a mastermind who sees the job through no matter the odds. You're in Dubai, sand stinging your eyes, glass creaking under your weight, and their voices keep you steady, like your old crews did when a heist went hot. But it's not just skills that bind you. It's the code unwritten but ironclad from your days on the run. You protect your crew always. In Fallout, you're in a Paris tunnel, bullets flying, Luther pinned down. You don't think you dive into the fire, dragging him out, risking the mission because he's yours. The IMF screams about priorities, but you don't care. You learned loyalty in back alleys, splitting loot with men who die for you, and you do the same. That's not spy protocol. That's a criminal's heart, the one that values blood over badges. Comment below, would you join Ethan's rogue crew or turn them in? Let's hear your take. The bridge creaks as a figure approaches Luther, his grin faint but familiar. He's got your back, like always, because he knows you'd take a bullet for him. But there's a shadow in his eyes, the same one you see in Benji, Ilsa, even yourself. You're all running from something, past crimes, lost lives, the truth of who you are. In Rogue Nation, you're hunting the syndicate and your team's with you, no questions asked even when the IMF cuts you loose. Picture it, you're in Vienna, slipping through an opera house, Benji's in a tech van, Luther's tracking signals. You're not just agents, you're a crew pulling a heist. The target, a terrorist network, the stakes global. You lead them with a nod, a look, because you've done this before, in darker times, with darker prizes. Your criminal crew isn't just muscle or tech, it's a mirror. They reflect you, the mastermind who turns misfits into legends. In Mission Impossible 3, you're saving Julia, but it's Luther and Benji who make it possible, their skills syncing with yours, like a lock clicking open. You're in Shanghai rooftops, slick with rain, coordinating a snatch and grab, while Davian's men close in. They don't flinch because they trust you the way your old crews trusted you when a job went south. But trust cuts deep. You've lost crew before Marie, your team in Prague, and every loss is a debt you carry. You wonder if Luther sees it, the criminal in you, the one who'd burn the world for his team, even if it means breaking every rule. Luther hands you a burner phone intel on Gabriel's movements, and you feel the old rush, the thrill of a job coming together. Your crew's your strength, but they're also your weakness. In Dead Reckoning, you're chasing Gabriel, the ghost of your criminal past, and your team's in the crosshairs. You're on a train metal, screaming Ilsa fighting beside you, Benji defusing a trap. You die for them, but you've put them here in danger because your past won't let go. That's the mastermind's burden. You build the perfect crew, but every job risks their blood. You learned that with Marie, her life snuffed out because you misread the play, and you'll carry it until Gabriel's down, or you are. The river's murmur fills the silence as you and Luther wait for the others. Your crew's not just a team, they're your legacy proof you can turn chaos into order, criminals into saviors. But saviors don't think like you. You see the world as a heist, every mission a score, every ally a piece to play. In Mission Impossible 2, you pull Nya into your crew, knowing she might not walk away. You're in Sydney, her life on the line, and you push her forward because the job demands it. That's the criminal in you, the one who weighs lives like loot, even when it's someone you care about. Your crew follows you anyway, because you're Ethan Hunt mastermind, and they believe you'll always find a way out. You slip the phone into your pocket eyes on the bridge's far end where Benji's silhouette appears. Your crew's assembling, ready for the next play, and you feel the weight of their trust. You're not just leading them, you're shaping them like you shaped jobs in your old life, turning raw talent into precision. But precision's a lie. Every mission's a gamble, and you're betting their lives, your life, on your criminal instincts. The IMF thinks they control you, but your crew knows the truth. You're the one running the show, a mastermind who's turned espionage into the ultimate heist, and your team's the key to pulling it off. You nod to Benji, your grin hiding the storm inside. The mission's heating up, Gabriel's shadow looming, and your crew's ready to follow you into hell. You'll lead them because that's what you do, but you'll also risk them because that's who you are. A criminal mastermind playing a game where the only rule is survival and the only prize is the next job. The bridge creaks under your weight and you move forward, your crew at your back, the night waiting to see what you'll steal next. You're under the bridge now, the Vltava's dark waters reflecting the city's lights as Benji hands you a flash drive, his nervous grin barely hiding the stakes. Luther's scanning the shadows, Ilsa's late, and the air's thick with the hum of a mission kicking into gear. You're Ethan Hunt, and this isn't just another op. It's a Russia high that burns hotter than any drug. You live for this, the chaos, the danger, the moment when the world's against you and you're still winning. It's not about saving the planet or following orders. It's about the thrill, the game, the way you turn impossible odds into your playground. That's not a hero's drive. It's a criminal's, a mastermind who's been chasing this high since your days on the run, and every mission proves you're addicted to it. The flash drive's warm in your palm, loaded with intel on Gabriel's next move, but you're not thinking about the IMF's endgame. You're thinking about the chase, the way it lights up your veins. Picture it, Mission Impossible, Fallout. You're on a motorcycle tearing through Paris, cars swerving, bullets grazing your jacket. The Arc de Triomphe blurs past your pulse syncing with the engine's roar, and you're grinning, because this is where you belong, on the edge, where one mistake means death, but you're too damn good to fall. That's the thrill you've always chased from your criminal days, when you'd outrun cops through neon-lit streets, your heart pounding, your laugh sharp with defiance. The IMF calls it duty. You know it's your fix. Feel that rush, the way it drowns out everything, guilt, fear, the ghosts in your head. Back then you were pulling heists, maybe boosting cars, or running guns, each job a gamble that left you buzzing. You'd slip into a dive bar after counting cash, your crew laughing, the world yours, until the next score. That's what missions are now. Bigger stakes, better tech, but the same high. In Rogue Nation, you're diving into an underwater vault, oxygen running low, your vision spotting as you swap out a data card. The pressure's crushing, but you're alive, every sense screaming, because this is what you live for. You're not thinking about the syndicate or the IMF. You're thinking about beating the trap, winning the game, proving you're untouchable. Benji's muttering about the drive's encryption, but you're half listening, your eyes on the river memories pulling you back. Your criminal past wasn't just about survival, it was about the thrill of outsmarting everyone. You'd con a mark, dodge a tail, walk away clean, and it felt like flying. Mission Impossible 3 captures it. You're kidnapping Owen Davian, a man who'd skin you alive, and you're in a helicopter wind, whipping your face, his smug grin daring you to slip. You don't. You outmaneuver his men, your team, even the IMF, because you love the chaos, the moment when the plan's a heartbeat from collapse, but you pull it off. That's not a spy's discipline. That's a criminal's hunger, a mastermind who thrives when the world's burning. But the thrill's a trap and you know it. It's why you keep running, why you can't stop. In Ghost Protocol, you're disavowed climbing the Burj Khalifa, your gloves failing the desert wind, trying to rip you off the glass. You're not climbing for the mission, you're climbing because you need to, because the risk is oxygen. Picture it, your fingers grip the ledge, your body screaming, but you're laughing, a wild edge to it, because you're alive in a way you never are on solid ground. That's the criminal in you, the one who'd pull a job just to feel this, who'd risk everything for the rush of winning against the odds. Luther's voice cuts through, warning about a car circling nearby, and you snap back, slipping the drive into your pocket. The thrill's got you this far, but it's also cost you. Marie's face flashes her laugh, her blood the job that went wrong because you chased the high too far. Dead reckoning ties her to this, to Gabriel, to the moment you learned the thrill's not free. You were young, cocky, running a job with her, maybe a heist, maybe something darker. You pushed too hard, ignored the warning signs, and she paid for it. You see her now in every close call, every mission that skirts disaster, and you wonder if you're chasing redemption or just the next hit. The car's headlights sweep the bridge, and you motion your team into the shadows, your body coiled ready. You've always loved this, the moment when it could all go wrong, but you're in control. In Mission Impossible 2, you're scaling a cliff, No ropes, just your hands and the wind to steal a virus. Your muscles burn the drops 1,000 feet. But you're grinning because this is your drug, your proof you're better than the world. The IMF thinks you're saving lives. You're proving you can't be caught, not by them, not by anyone. That's the mastermind's game. Every mission's a heist. Every risk a bet you'll walk away. Ilsa appears her silhouette sharp against the bridge's lights, and you feel the team click into place. You're not just leading them. You're feeding off their energy, their own need for the thrill. Luther's calm, but you've seen him light up when a hack goes right. Benji's nervous, but he's hooked on the rush of cracking a system. Ilsa's a wild card, her eyes as hungry as yours. You're a crew of thrill-seekers, criminals at heart, and you lead them because you're the best at it. Comment below, what's the wildest risk you'd take for a thrill? Like Ethan's, share your story. The car slows, and you're moving your team in sync, slipping toward a van parked nearby. The thrill's got you, but it's also a chain. Every mission pushes you closer to the edge, and you've seen what's on the other side: Marie's grave, your team's blood, the lives you've traded for the high. In Fallout, you're racing a helicopter, the Alps blurring below, a nuke's timer ticking. You're not thinking about the world, you're thinking about beating the clock, feeling the rush as you pull off the impossible. But when it's over, you're alone, panting, the high fading, and you wonder if it's worth it, if the thrill's all you've got left. You're in the van now, Luther, driving Benji, cracking the drive's code, Ilsa watching the road. The mission's alive, but it's the thrill that's driving you, the need to outrun Gabriel, the past yourself. You've been chasing this high since you were a kid, slipping through the cracks, defying the world. The IMF thinks they own you, but you're using them, their missions, to feed your addiction. You're a criminal mastermind, not because you break the law, but because you live for the game, the chaos, the risk, the moment when you're untouchable and the world's just a step behind. The van speeds into the night, Prague's lights fading, and you lean back, the flash drive heavy in your pocket. The thrill's got you, but it's also pulling you towards something darker. Gabriel, Marie, the truth you've been running from. You'll chase it because that's who you are, a mastermind who lives for the game even when it's killing you. The road stretches ahead and you're ready, your crew beside you, the next hit just over the horizon. The van's tires hum against the asphalt, Prague's skyline a blur as you speed toward a safe house. The flash drive's secrets locked tight in Benji's laptop. You're Ethan Hunt, leaning against the van's wall. Your crew's banter, a low hum over the engine's growl. Luther's steady at the wheel. Ilsa's eyes flick to the rear view, Benji's muttering about firewalls. You're the glue holding this chaos together, but it's not your heroics that make you their leader. It's your ability to outsmart the world, to turn a mission into a heist no one sees coming. You've been doing this since your criminal days, outwitting cops, cons, cartels, and now the IMF, rogue agents, even entire governments. You're not just playing their game, you're rewriting the rules. A criminal mastermind who turns global systems into your personal chessboard, and every move is yours to own. The safe house looms ahead, a crumbling tenement shrouded in fog. But you're not thinking about rest. You're thinking about the syndicate, Gabriel, the web of power you're about to unravel. Mission impossible. Rogue Nation shows you at your peak. You're hunting a shadow network, the syndicate, while the CIA tries to leash you. Picture it. You're in London, slipping through a data center servers, humming like a heartbeat, your fingers brushing a terminal as you download their secrets. The IMF's shut down your teams disavowed, but you don't blink. You hack their systems, redirect their assets, turn their hunt for you into your cover. This isn't spycraft. It's a con, the kind you pulled when you were dodging law enforcement, using their own tools to vanish into the night. Feel the thrill of it, the way outsmarting a system lights you up. Back in your criminal days, you'd slip into a bank's back room, rewiring alarms, knowing one slip meant cuffs or worse. You loved it. The rush, the control, the moment when you walked away clean. Now, you're doing it on a global scale. In Ghost Protocol, the Kremlin's bombed and you're a ghost, but you don't hide. You infiltrate Russian intelligence, stealing nuclear codes from under their noses. You're in Moscow, snow dusting your jacket, your team spoofing signals to blind satellites. You're not just evading, you're manipulating, turning Russia's own tech against them like you used to turn a Mark's greed into your payday. The IMF calls it strategy. You know it's theft pure and simple. Benji's laptop chimes a crack in the drive's encryption, and you lean over, your mind racing. You've always been good at this, seeing angles, exploiting weaknesses. Mission Impossible 3 proves it. You're taking down Owen Davian, but you don't go through channels. You kidnap him, stage a heist in Vatican City, your team slipping past guards like ghosts. Picture it, you're in a tunnel. Davian's smug face inches from yours, your fist itching to break him. You're using IMF tech drones comms, but it's your criminal brain running the show, turning a mission into a score. You exploit every gap from lax security to Davian's ego, because you learned early systems are built to be broken, whether it's a bank vault or a government. The van pulls into an alley, and you're out, moving toward the safe house, your crew in tow. You're not just outsmarting enemies, you're outsmarting the IMF. They think you're their asset, but you've been using their clearance, their gadgets, to run your own plays. In Fallout, you're chasing plutonium, but you defy orders, saving Luther over the mission. You're in Kashmir, a nuke's ticking, and you redirect IMF satellites, hack their drones, all to pull off your plan. The IMF's screaming, but you're calm because you've always known how to bend systems. Back when you were running jobs, you'd bribe a guard, spoof a camera, walk away clean. Now you're doing it with nations, and the stakes are higher, but the game's the same. Luther kicks open the safe house door, and you're inside the air stale with dust and mildew. Benji sets up his rig. Ilsa checks the perimeter, and you spread the flash drive's intel across a table, names, accounts, proof of the syndicate's reach. You're not reporting this to the IMF, not yet. You're holding it because knowledge is leverage, and leverage is power. That's the criminal in you, the one who never trusted systems, who learned to hoard secrets like cash. In Mission Impossible, you steal the knock list not to hand it over, but to barter your freedom. You're in Prague, bargaining with Max, a black market queen, your voice steady, as you trade secrets for survival. That's not a hero's move, it's a mastermind's playing the IMF's own game against them. The intel's damning, tying Gabriel to the syndicate, to Marie's death, and you feel the old rage flare. You've been outsmarting systems since you were a kid, but Gabriel's different. He's the one who outsmarted you, the one who cost you everything. Dead Reckoning digs into it. You were running with Marie, pulling jobs, maybe dreaming of a way out. You misread the play, trusted the wrong man, and she paid for it. Picture it, you're in a warehouse, her blood pooling, your hands shaking, as you try to save her. That failure drives you, but it's also why you're unstoppable. You've turned that pain into a weapon, using it to break every system, criminal government, even the IMF that stands in your way. Ilsa's voice cuts through reporting movement outside, and you're on your feet ready. You've always been good at this, exploiting cracks, turning traps into opportunities. In Rogue Nation, you trap Solomon Lane, but you don't kill him. You're in London, his cage glass between you, and you let him live, because killing him's too easy. You want to break him, his network, his system, like you broke every mark in your past. That's the Mastermind's game, not just winning, but owning the board. Comment below, could you outsmart Ethan's plans, or is he too far ahead? Share your thoughts. The safe house feels smaller. Now the intel's spread like a map of your war. You're not just fighting Gabriel, you're fighting the world. Its systems, its lies. The IMF thinks they own you, but you've been using them, their tech, their missions to carve your own path. Every hack, every heist, every move is you rewriting the rules, turning global stakes into your personal score. You're a criminal mastermind, not because you break laws, but because you break systems, governments, agencies, enemies, and walk away clean, or as clean as a man like you can be. You're at the table now, your crew around you, the intel pointing to a meet in Vienna. Gabriel's close and you're closer. Your mind already mapping the next play. You'll use every system, IMF syndicate, even your own team to get him, because that's what you do. You outsmart, you outmaneuver. You own the game and the world's just a step behind, wondering how you did it. The safe house hums with tension, and you're ready. Your crew's eyes on you, the next move yours to make. The safe house tables cluttered with intel. Vienna's opera house circled on a map, Gabriel's shadow looming over every scribbled note. You're Ethan Hunt, your crew's eyes locked on you. Luther's steady, Benji's twitchy, Ilsa's unreadable. The flash drive secrets point to a syndicate meet. But you're not thinking about the mission's endgame. You're thinking about masks, literal and figurative, the ones you've worn since your criminal days, the ones that let you slip through the world's fingers. You're a mastermind, not because you fight harder, but because you hide better, blending truth and lies until even you question what's real. Every mission, every disguise is a mask, and you've been wearing them so long, they're as much you as the scars beneath. You're packing gear now, slipping a latex mask into your bag, its edges cool against your fingers. Mission Impossible. Ghost Protocol shows you wielding masks like weapons. You're in Mumbai, impersonating a Russian general, your face a perfect replica, your voice a studied mimic. Picture it. You're in a penthouse, the city's lights sprawling below your team, feeding you lines through an earpiece. The general's men buy it, handing over nuclear codes, because you're not just Ethan Hunt, you're whoever you need to be. That's not spy training. That's a con artist's art honed in your criminal past, when you'd slip into roles, courier, dealer, ghost, to pull jobs no one traced. You learned to mirror marks, to wear their trust like a second skin, and you've never stopped. Feel the weight of that mask, the way it clings, blurring who you are. In Rogue Nation, you're in Vienna, slipping through an opera house, your face shifting to infiltrate the syndicate. You're not just hiding, you're rewriting reality, making enemies see a friend, allies see a stranger. The latex is only part of it. Your real mask is your charm, your grin, the way you make people believe you're on their side. Back in your criminal days, you'd talk your way past guards, charm a mark into spilling secrets over whiskey. Picture it. You're young in a smoky bar, leaning close to a thug. With too much cash, your laugh disarming his suspicions. You walked away richer, and he never saw the con. That's you now wearing masks to outsmart the world. Benji's rigging comms muttering about the opera house's security, but you're half listening your mind on Naya. Mission Impossible 2. Cuts deep, you pulled her into your world. Your charm, a mask that hid the danger. You're in Seville. Her laughter soft under flamenco lights, but you're playing her, drawing her into a mission against a virus. You told yourself it was love, but was it? Or was it another Connor mask you wore to win? Her eyes haunt you betrayed when you pushed her to risk everything. You wear that guilt like a mask too, hiding it behind your grin, your mission. Because showing it means admitting you're not the hero she thought you were. The safe house hums Luther, checking weapons, Ilsa slipping knives into her boots. You're not just wearing masks for others, you're wearing them for your crew. They trust you, but do they know you? In Mission Impossible 3, you're saving Julia, but you lie to them to her about the risks. You're in Shanghai, her life on the line, and you're smiling, promising safety you can't deliver. Your mask is the leader, the one who's got it together, but inside you're fraying Marie's ghost whispering, you'll fail again. Your criminal past taught you to hide your fear, your doubts, your blood, so you wear the mask of Ethan Hunt IMF agent even when it's choking you. You slip on a jacket, but it's the figurative mask you feel most. Dead Reckoning digs into this. Gabriel knows your past, knows the man behind the masks. You're facing him a train screaming through the Alps, his blade flashing, and he calls you out. Not the spy, but the criminal, the one who lost Marie because he wore the wrong mask, trusted the wrong face. Picture it, you're young running with Marie, your grin masking the fear of a job gone wrong. You wore the mask of confidence, but it cracked, and she died. That failure's why you're so good at masks now, why you slip into them like armor, because you can't let anyone see the cracks again. Ilsa's voice snaps you back, reporting clear streets, and you nod, but your mind's on the opera house. You'll wear a mask there, maybe latex, maybe just your charm to slip past Gabriel's men. But it's the deeper masks that weigh you down, the ones you wear for Luther, for Benji, for yourself. They see the leader, the mastermind, but do they see the criminal? The one who'd sacrifice them, if it came to it, to stop Gabriel. In Fallout, you let innocents die to keep your cover. Your mask of control, never slipping. You're in a hospital, screams echoing, and you walk away because the mission demands it. That's not a hero's mask. It's a mastermind's cold, calculated, hiding the cost. Comment below, what's the hardest mask you've worn to hide your truth? Share your story, because we all wear them sometimes. The gears pack the van ready, but you're still your fingers brushing the latex mask in your bag. You've always been good at this, disappearing into roles, making the world believe your lies. But every mask hides a price. Nya's gone, Julia's gone, Marie's blood stains your hands, all because you wore masks to survive, to win. The IMF thinks they know you, but they see the mask, not the man, not the one who's been conning since he was a kid, turning every mission into a heist. You're heading for the van, now your crew falling in, step the Vienna job, a heartbeat away. The opera house waits a stage for your next act, where you'll wear a mask to slip through the cracks to outsmart Gabriel's system. But the real con's deeper. You're masking your soul, hiding the criminal, the mastermind from everyone, maybe even yourself. You wonder what's left when the masks fall, if there's anything at all, or if you've become the disguise, the lie you've lived so long. The van's door slams and you're rolling toward Vienna. Your masks ready, your heart heavy. The game never pausing, never letting you see the man beneath. You're in the van. Luther's driving, Benji's laptop, glowing, Ilsa's silence sharp. The city's lights fade and you're thinking about Gabriel, about Marie, about the masks you'll wear to end this. You've been wearing them since your criminal days. Each one a layer of survival, each one a step further from who you were. You're a criminal mastermind, not because you hide, but because you make the world believe the mask is you, while you steal their secrets, their trust, their future. The road to Vienna hums under you, and you're ready, your crew beside you, the next mask waiting to be worn. The van rumbles through the night, Vienna's glow on the horizon, as you lean back, the latex mask still heavy in your bag. You're Ethan Hunt, and the opera house job's hours away, but your mind's not on Gabriel or the syndicate. It's on the cost, the scars you've carved into your soul with every mission. Your crew's around you. Luther's steady hands on the wheel. Benji's fingers dancing over his laptop. Ilsa's gaze cutting through the dark. They trust you, but they don't see the toll, the pieces of you left behind with every heist, every mask, every life you've traded. You're a criminal mastermind, not just for your cunning, but for the price you pay to keep playing a price that's bled you. Dry, leaving ghosts like Marie Naya and Julia in your wake. The van's hum pulls you back to Sydney Mission Impossible 2, where you're scaling a cliff, no ropes, just your hands gripping rock, the ocean roaring below. Nia's waiting, her life tied to your mission. But you're not thinking about her. You're thinking about winning, about stealing a virus from a lab. You told yourself you loved her, but you pushed her into danger. Her trust, a casualty of your game. Picture it. You're in a lab, her syringe at her neck. Your voice calm as you talk her through it. She survives, but she's gone after her eyes, haunted by your betrayal. You wear that scar, hidden under your grin, because a mastermind doesn't flinch even when his heart's breaking. Feel the weight of it, the way loss clings like damp leather. Naya wasn't the first. Marie's ghost is older, sharper from your criminal days. Dead reckoning cuts to the bone, you were running jobs with her, maybe lovers, maybe partners in crime. Your laughter masking the fear of a heist gone wrong. You're in a warehouse, her blood warm on your hands, Gabriel's blade flashing as you fail to save her. That moment cost you everything. Her life, your freedom, your soul. You joined the IMF to escape prison, but really you were running from her. From the guilt that you pushed too far, chased too hard. Every mission since has been a penance, but the price keeps climbing and you're not sure what's left to pay. Luther's voice breaks through, asking about the opera house layout, and you nod, but your mind's on Julia. Mission Impossible 3 shows you fighting for her, your wife, the one who saw past your masks. You're in Shanghai rooftops, slick with rain. Davian's men closing in, and you're promising her safety, your voice a lie you want to believe. You save her, but she's gone after her life upended because you couldn't leave her out of your world. Picture it. You're at her new wedding, watching from the shadows, her laughter a knife in your chest. You walked away because love's a chain, and a mastermind can't afford chains, not when the game demands everything. The van hits a pothole, and Benji curses his laptop sliding. You steady it, but your thoughts are on your crew, the ones still paying your price. In Fallout, you're in Paris, Luther's bleeding out, and you risk a nuke to save him. You're in a tunnel, bullets whizzing, your hands slick with his blood, and you pull him through because he's yours. But you know the cost. Every mission you put them in the crosshairs, Luther, Benji, Ilsa. Because your game doesn't stop. You see their scars too. Benji's nervous twitch, Luther's quiet nights, Ilsa's haunted eyes. You're their leader, but you're also their thief, stealing their peace for your thrill, your vengeance. Ilsa's watching you now, her silence heavier than the van's engine. She knows loss too, and you wonder if she sees through you, sees the criminal paying for his sins. In Rogue Nation, you pull her into your fight against the syndicate, knowing it could break her. You're in Vienna, her knife flashing beside you, and you trust her. But you're also using her because the mission demands it. That's the Mastermind's curse. You love your crew, but you'll sacrifice them, just like you sacrificed Naya, Julia, Marie. You learned that in your criminal days, when you'd let a partner take a fall to save the job, your heart hardening with every betrayal. The safe house intel spread in your mind. Gabriel's meet a ticking clock. You're not just chasing him, you're chasing absolution, but it's a lie. Dead reckoning shows you facing him, a train, derailing, his voice cutting through. He knows your cost, knows Marie's death broke you. You're fighting him, your fists bloody, but you're also fighting yourself, the man who let her die because he loved the game too much. Picture it. You're young, cocky, splitting loot with Marie. Your grin hiding the fear. You pushed her into that job, and she paid, leaving you with scars no mask can hide. Every mission since has been a debt, but the ledger's never balanced. Benji's laptop chimes the opera house schematics up, and you lean in, your crew's eyes on you. You're not thinking about saving the world. You're thinking about the cost, the lives you'll trade to get Gabriel. In Ghost Protocol, you let innocents die in Mumbai to keep your cover, your jaw tight as screams echo. You're in a market, bodies falling, and you walk away because the mission's bigger. That's not a hero's choice. It's a criminal's, a mastermind who knows the price and pays it even when it's his soul. Comment below, is Ethan's cost worth his missions, or has he lost too much? Share your thoughts. The van's nearing Vienna, the opera house's spires faint in the distance. You're checking your gear, but your heart's heavy, the ghosts of Marie, Nia, Julia whispering. You've paid for every win, every heist, every mask, but the game doesn't stop. Your crew's ready, but you see their scars, know you've added to them. You're their mastermind, but you're also their thief, stealing their futures for your fight. The IMF thinks you're their hero, but you're paying a criminal's price, one that's left you hollow, chasing a thrill that's as much curse as cure. You're out of the van now. Vienna's chill, biting your skin, your crew falling in step. The opera house looms a stage for your next play, but it's the cost that's driving you, the lives you've lost, the ones you'll risk, the soul you're burning. You're a criminal mastermind, not for your victories, but for the price you pay to keep playing, the scars you carry for every win. The city's alive with music, but you hear only the ghosts, their voices pulling you forward toward Gabriel, toward a reckoning you can't outrun. Vienna's streets pulse with evening crowds. The opera house's golden glow, casting shadows as you slip through the throng, your crew fanning out behind you. You're Ethan Hunt, the latex mask in your bag, a promise of deception, but it's the weight of history that's heavier. Your criminal past, your rogue choices, the scars you've carved into your soul. The mission's clear. Infiltrate the opera house, stop Gabriel's syndicate deal, end the man who killed Marie. But you're not just fighting for the world, you're fighting for yourself, for a legacy that teeters between hero and villain. Every step toward the opera house is a question: will you be remembered as a savior or a shadow who played the game too well? You're a criminal mastermind, and your legacy's written in the choices you've made, the lines you've crossed, the lives you've shaped or shattered. The opera house looms its marble steps, buzzing with patrons, their chatter a mask for your tension. You're scanning exits, sightlines the way you did in your criminal days, casing joints for a score. Mission impossible. Rogue Nation sets the stage. You're here to intercept, to hit your team, wired into comms, your mask ready to slip on. Picture it, you're in the rafters. Turandot's aria swelling below your fingers, brushing a rifle meant for a chancellor. You stop the hit, but it's not clean. Shots ring out, chaos erupts, and you're running because that's your legacy, saving the day, but leaving a trail of fire. You're not a hero who poses for statues. You're a mastermind who wins at a cost, and Vienna's just another chapter. Feel the stakes, the way they've built since Prague, since Marie. Your criminal past is the root of it all. A thief, a con man who learned to outsmart the world because he had to. Dead Reckoning ties it together. You were running with Marie, pulling jobs, your grin hiding the fear. You misread Gabriel and she dyed her blood, the ink of your legacy. You joined the IMF to escape prison. But every mission's been a fight to rewrite that moment, to prove you're more than a criminal. In Mission Impossible, you clear your name, stealing the NOC list, but you leave bodies and broken trust. You're in a train tunnel. Your team battered your victory, bitter because you've lost too much to call it clean. Luther's voice crackles through your earpiece, positioning confirmed, and you slip into a service entrance, the opera's music a distant thrum. Your legacy's not just your past, it's your defiance. Ghost Protocol shows you disavowed, climbing the Burj Khalifa, your gloves slipping the wind, screaming. You save the world from a nuke, but you do it your way, ignoring the IMF, risking your crew. Picture it. You're in Dubai, sand in your teeth, your team's lives on the line, and you push forward. Because that's you, rogue, relentless, a mastermind who bends rules until they break. The world cheers, but they don't see the cost, the lives you've traded, the trust you've burned. Benji's in the tech booth. Ilsa's shadowing the mark, and you're moving through backstage shadows, your mask ready, but not yet on. You're thinking about your crew, their scars, part of your legacy. In Fallout, you save Luther, but you let innocents die, your choice, a mark on their souls. You're in Paris, screams echoing your jaw, tight as you walk away. You've shaped them. Luther's calm, Benji's courage, Ilsa's edge, but you've also cost them, pulling them into your game, your thrill, your fight. They're your strength, but they're also your mirror, reflecting the criminal who leads, not with orders, but with a con man's trust, a mastermind's vision. The aria builds, and you're in position, Gabriel's men just seats away. Your legacy's in your masks too, the ones you wear to hide, to win, to survive. Mission Impossible 3 cuts deep. You're saving Julia, but you lie to her, to your team. Your mask of control hiding the fear. You're in Shanghai, her life on the line, and you're smiling. But inside you're breaking, because every mask costs you. Nia, Julia Marie, they're your legacy's ghosts. Women you loved lost, because you played the game too hard. Picture it. You're with Naya in Seville. Her laughter soft, but you're already planning, already risking her. That's not love. It's a criminal's gamble, and you're still paying the price. Ilsa's voice whispers through comms, spotting Gabriel, and your pulse spikes, not with fear, but with purpose. Your legacy's in this moment too. The fight against Gabriel, the man who knows your truth. Dead reckoning shows him taunting you a train, derailing his blade at your throat. He calls you out not as a spy, but as the criminal who let Marie die, who's been running ever since. You're fighting him, your fists bloody, but you're also fighting for a legacy that's more than blood, more than loss. You want to be the hero, but every move, every lie, every sacrifice says, Mastermind, a man who plays the world like a heist and wins, but never cleanly. The opera's climax hits, and you're moving, slipping on the mask, your face shifting to match a syndicate operative. Your legacy's in your choices, the grey zone where you've lived since your criminal days. In Mission Impossible 2, you risk Nia to stop a virus. Your heart torn, but your mission clear. You're in Sydney, her life on the line, and you push forward, because the world's bigger than one life, even hers. That's not heroism, it's calculation. The kind you learned splitting loot, dodging bullets, surviving when the world wanted you caged. Comment below, is Ethan a hero, a villain, or something in between? Tell me your take. You're in the opera house's heart now, the crowd a blur, Gabriel's men close. Your legacy's not just your wins, it's the questions you leave. Will the world remember you as the man who saved it, or the shadow who broke it? You've outsmarted systems, defied orders, worn masks to hide your truth. But every step's been a gamble, and the dice are still rolling. Your crew's with you, their lives tied to yours, and you feel the weight of their trust, their scars, their futures. You're a criminal mastermind, not for your crimes, but for your legacy. A man who played the game so well. No one's sure what you are, not even you. You're slipping through the crowd, your mask, perfect Gabriel's deal, moments away. The aria's fading, but the tension's rising, your legacy, a fire in your chest. You've paid for every win, every mask, every thrill, but you're still here, still fighting. Because that's your truth. You don't stop, no matter the cost. The opera house is your stage. Gabriel, your reckoning, and your legacy hero or villain hangs in the balance, waiting for your next move. The opera house's lights dim. Turandot's final notes fading as you glide through the crowd. Your mask a perfect mimic of a syndicate operative. Your eyes locked on Gabriel's silhouette in a private box. You're Ethan Hunt. Your crew's voices, a steady hum in your earpiece. Luther's calm, Benji's tense, Ilsa's sharp. The mission's razor-thin stop. Gabriel's deal end the syndicate's play. Face the man who cost you Marie. But it's not just a mission, it's your final act, the moment where you define who you are, not to the IMF, not to the world, but to yourself. You're a criminal mastermind, not because you break rules or wear masks, but because you've turned your life into the ultimate heist, stealing victories from chaos. And this is the score that could make or break you. Your heart's steady, but it's not calm. It's alive, sinking with the crowd's rustle, the clink of champagne glasses, the weight of the knife in your sleeve. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Part 1 brings you here face to face with Gabriel, the ghost of your criminal past. Picture it, you're on a train metal screaming as it derails Gabriel's blade, flashing his voice cutting deeper than steel. He knows you not the IMF's hero, but the thief who ran with Marie, who lost her, because you chased the thrill too far. You're fighting him, your fists bloody, But it's not just about stopping him. It's about ending the cycle. The heist that's been your life since you first picked a lock, split a score, or dodged a bullet. Feel the moment, the way it pulls every thread of your story tight. You're slipping into the box now, your mask fooling Gabriel's men, but your mind's racing through every mission, every cost. In Mission Impossible, you stole the knock list to clear your name, but you left Prague burning your team's blood on the cobblestones. You're in a train tunnel, your hands shaking as you realize you're alone, a criminal playing spy. That was your first heist as Ethan Hunt, and every mission since has been the same, stealing wins from systems, from enemies, from fate. But this facing Gabriel is different. It's personal, the mission that could rewrite your legacy or bury it under the weight of your sins. Luther's voice crackles, confirming Benji's hacked the security feeds, and you nod, your mask's edges itching against your skin. You've always been the mission, the one who carries it, shapes it, pays for it. Ghost Protocol shows you climbing the Burj Khalifa glass, cutting your palms, the wind howling, because no one else could. You're in Dubai, your crew's lives on the line, and you push forward, not for glory, but because you're the only one who can steal victory from defeat. That's the Mastermind's truth. You don't just lead, you become the game. Every risk, every lie, every scar. A piece of the heist you've been pulling since you were a kid on the run. Ilsa's in position, her knife ready, and you feel the team's rhythm. Your crew's trust a lifeline. But trust is a blade, and you've cut them with it. In Fallout, you saved Luther, but you risked a nuke, your choice a shadow over their souls. You're in Paris, bullets flying, and you pull him through, but you see his eyes, the weight of what you've cost him. Nia, Julia, Marie, they're gone. Their lives, the price of your game. Picture it. You're with Julia in Shanghai promising safety, but you're lying, because you're the mission, and the mission always comes first. You've stolen their futures, their peace, because a mastermind doesn't stop, even when it's killing him. Gabriel turns his eyes, meeting yours through the mask, and you freeze, your breath shallow. He doesn't know it's you, not yet, but you feel the weight of his gaze, the man who saw you break. Dead Reckoning replays it, you're young. Marie's laughter fading as Gabriel's blade finds her, your scream lost in the chaos. You failed her, and every mission since has been a heist to steal back that moment, to prove you're more than the criminal who let her die. But are you? You've outsmarted systems, defied orders, worn masks to hide your truth. But Gabriel's your mirror, a mastermind who plays the same game. And he's winning because he doesn't carry your ghosts. The deal's starting, briefcases exchanged, and you move your knife, slipping free, your mask perfect, but your heart exposed. You're not just stopping Gabriel, you're stealing your soul back, or what's left of it. In Rogue Nation, you trapped Solomon Lane, your cunning, outmatching his, but you let him live because killing him felt too final, too clean. You're in London, his cage, between you, and you walk away because the game's not over. But Gabriel's different. He's the end game, the one who knows your cost, your legacy, your truth. This heist isn't for the IMF or the world. It's for you, the criminal mastermind who's been running since Marie, chasing a win that might not exist. Benji's voice warns of guards closing in, and you're moving faster. Your crew's steps syncing with yours. You've always been the mission, but it's cost you everything. Your crew's scars, your lovers' lives, your own soul. Mission Impossible the Third shows you fighting for Julia, but you lied to her, to yourself, your mask of love, hiding the criminal who'd risk her for the win. You're in a safe house, her eyes trusting, and you're breaking because you know you'll lose her. That's your heist's price. You steal victories, but you lose yourself piece by piece until you're just the mission, a mastermind with nothing left to steal. The box is chaos now. Gabriel's men reacting, your knife flashing as you drop the mask, your face bare. He sees you, his grin cold, and you're back in that warehouse. Marie's blood warm, your failure raw. You're fighting him not just for the syndicate, but for every ghost, Nia, Julia, your crew, yourself. Picture it, you're on the train, the Alps blurring your fists, bloody Gabriel's voice mocking your legacy. You're not a hero, he says, and you know he's right. You're a criminal mastermind, stealing wins from a world that doesn't see you. And this is your final heist, the one that could end you or make you whole. Ilsa's at your side, Luther's voice, steady, Benji's hack holding, and you're alive, the mission pulsing through you. You've paid for every win, every mask, every thrill, but you're here still fighting because you're Ethan Hunt, the mission itself. The Opera House is your stage. Gabriel, your reckoning, and the world's waiting to see who you are, hero-villain, or the shadow who stole it all. You lunge your knife, aimed your legacy, a fire that won't die, driving you toward the end, whatever it costs, whatever it takes.